on Facebook, and we are also recording, and we will post this to our YouTube channel so that we can share this link out with anyone that wants to join in the celebration today. I have the privilege of welcoming Catawba's 24th president, Dr. David Nelson, to his first official Distinguished Alumni Awards ceremony. So, Dr. Nelson, I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Mindy, and thanks to everyone for joining us. Good morning to you. With Mindy, we so wish that we could be in person, but since we can't be, we're happy that we can gather in this way. And I am thrilled to be at Catawba. I'm honored to have been asked to be the 24th president. And this is a community that is easy to fall in love with, and we're really happy to be here. So I'm very glad to share with you in this award ceremony. And it's my privilege today to make some special presentations to alumni of our institution. The Alumni Association Board of Directors has unanimously voted to make 4 alumni awards this year. So we're especially excited to introduce a new award called the Catawba Black Alumni Pioneer Award. And this is an outcome of our newly formed Catawba Black Alumni Network, known as CBAN. And these awards are given annually by Catawba's Alumni Association to individuals who've served their community, who have distinguished themselves at different phases of their professional careers, and have also served the Catawba College community. Today, joining me as I make these presentations on behalf of the Alumni Board of Directors and Alumni Association is Jeff Smith, a member of the class of 2006, and Jeff serves as secretary of our Alumni Board of Directors. Jeff, thanks for being with us today. Our first award is our Young Alumni Award for Service. So each year we recognize a young alum for his or her exceptional service to the college and or community. Young alumni are those who have graduated from Catawba College within the past 10 years. And I'll turn it to Jeff to present the award.
All right, thank you, Dr. Nelson. This year's recipient of the Theo Shepard, this year's recipient is Theo Shepard, class of 2015. He's a recipient of the Young Alumni Award for Service. Shepard is currently pursuing a degree in counseling from Regent University. He previously serviced as program leader at the school fundraising company Bootstardom in Austin, Texas. Earned a degree in communication arts with a minor in English. At Catawba, he received the Whitner Award and Paul Fisher Service Award and was chair of the Retreat Leadership Course. He served as president of Lambda Pi Eta National Communication Association, was a senator in the Student Government Association, and a leader in the Campus Crusade for Christ. He participated in Alpha Chi, Phi Epsilon, Sigma Tau Delta, Phi Beta Lambda, the Dead Athenian Society, and the Order of the Blue and White, and the International Club. Theo, would you like to share any thoughts?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Nelson. It's great to meet you virtually, at least. I love this place, love where I come from, and I'll always be a Catawba Indian. Thank you all very much for your congratulations. Thanks for recognizing me. It is a wild year, but one that we can work through together. So I really appreciate where I am and really appreciate how far I've come. It's been a really fun time. Booster was an amazing time in my life, and I'm thankful to be even more thankful to be where I am. So thank you all so much. Really appreciate it.
Congratulations, Theo. Big virtual applause
Thank you, sir.
For Theo there. Our next award is the Young Alumni Award for Career Development. So recipients of this award have quickly developed success in their career field. Again, young alumni are those who graduated from Catawba within the past 10 years. Jeff?
All right. So this year's recipient is Timothy Redling, class of 2010. The recipient of the Young Alumni Award for Career Development. Redling is a managing attorney with Davis & Davis Attorneys at Law, PC, in Salisbury. Graduated cum laude from Catawba with a degree in business administration. He earned a full merit scholarship to Wake Forest University School of Law, where he served on the Law Review, was elected to the Honor Council, and earned CALI awards in 6 different courses. The CALI award is given to the top scoring student in each class. He graduated cum laude from Wake Forest in 2016, earning Order of the Coeth distinction by finishing in the top 10% of his class. Redling joined Davis & Davis in 2017. He represents clients across several North Carolina counties in civil, district, and superior courts. Redling is lead brief writer for the firm, resulting in numerous favorable court rulings. He has secured sizable judgments and settlements on behalf of his clients. Redling is active in the Catawba Chiefs Club, and he and his twin brother, Tommy, have not missed a home football game since 2000 when they were in middle school. Tim, would you like to say a few words?
Well, thank you, President Nelson. Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Mindy Miller and Savannah Shaver and all the many others in the development office and at Catawba College for coordinating this virtually. I'm humbled to be the 2020 Young Alumni Award recipient. I'll tell you, I'm simply a byproduct of my surroundings, like all of us are. My identical twin brother, Tommy, whom you just mentioned, he's the current vice president of the Chiefs Club at Catawba. Him and Jeff Childress and everybody do such a wonderful job. Tommy is the person I look up to most in my life, and he's the rock of my life. I want to thank my mother, Vicki, Father Gary, my stepfather, Tim, my grandmother, Libby, my stepsisters, Katie and Mary Beth. These are people that I model myself after. I'm nothing without them. I also have to thank my work family at the law firm Davis & Davis. All of the attorneys there are Catawba graduates: James Davis II, Jennifer Davis Hammond, also Stacy Montgomery, Wendy Shields, Jordan Lee Frank, another Catawba grad, Josh Dry, a Catawba grad, Alex Wimmer, Molly Blackwell. Again, I'm nothing without them. It's these names, these people, these are the individuals that surround me. These are also the same people who know of my deep love at Catawba. I call it love. Others probably call it an obsession. And I think that's fair. You know, I think of many moments when friends and family are watching a big professional sporting event on TV, and I'm on my iPhone watching Catawba basketball play Bluefield State with a straight face. My Catawba story starts earlier than most alums. At 7 years old, Tommy and I, we learned to ride our bicycles at the football stadium before we had that fancy turf and all those wonderful things. And at 11 years old, my dad took my brother and I to our first football game. It was in 1999. We were playing Mars Hill. I still remember it. It was packed. We had to sit on the visitor side. We won 34-7. And that's all that mattered to me at that time. What's also important to me is at 14, we were freshmen at Salisbury High School, and my brother and I created a football website for Catawba. The looks that we would get when people would find out that the people behind that website were 2 teenagers without a driver's license, I can't even tell you the looks we would get. We ran that website for over 7 years. It was one of the largest small college football websites in the country at the time. But I want to talk about today. Today, I'm a licensed attorney, like was mentioned. I'm practicing in my hometown. I love Salisbury, just like I love Catawba here at Davis & Davis. As mentioned, I've had the privilege to represent clients in civil litigation in our courts, as well as arbitration. I can tell you that as a class of 2010 graduate, my legal education is not the root of my career. The root is Catawba. And how can I explain that a genetics class taught by Dr. Volker is the root of my career? or a Chinese economics class by Dr. Slate, or American government by Dr. Bitzer, or ethics by Dr. Clapp, or a computer class with Dr. Thompson? My answer is these classes, they instilled daily habits and critical thinking in small classrooms in a meaningful liberal arts education. And I still think about those classes and those professors even a decade later. There's not another Dr. Clapp in the country, or a Dr. Thompson, or a Curtis Walker, or a Chip Hester. These men and women have meant so much in my life. And each day in the practice of law, I can tell you, I use the things I learned at Catawba each day. I use it as a force for good in my community. That's my Catawba story. It's interwoven with my life. And I'm just going to leave a simple quote. I love this quote. It's from a philosopher, the father of American psychology, William James. Act as if what you do makes a difference. It does. And I just want to thank my Catawba family. Thank you.
Tim, congratulations. Big round of applause for Tim. And Tim, I had the pleasure of meeting your brother a couple of weeks ago, and I'll look forward to getting to meet you in the days ahead. So next, our next award is the Distinguished Alumni Award for Career Achievement. Recipients of this award have provided leadership or attained recognition on a national or regional level within their profession or business. Jeff, I turn it again to you.
Thank you. This year's recipient is John Arrowood, class of 1970, recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award for Career Achievement. John Arrowood of Charlotte was elected to an 8-year term as a judge on the North Carolina Court of Appeals in 2018. His election marked the first time an openly LGBTQ person was elected to a statewide office, not only in North Carolina, but also in the South. He graduated magna cum laude from Catawba and received his law degree from UNC Chapel Hill School of Law in 1982. He worked on the Court of Appeals and practiced law in Charlotte before serving as a North Carolina Superior Court judge in 2007. He has been a member of board of the North Carolina Railroad, the North Carolina Banking Commission, and the North Carolina Arts Council. John, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you to the Alumni Association for this award. And as I learned that I was receiving this award, I thought back about my career at Catawba, which ended in 1979 as I was getting ready to go to law school. And I thought about 4 people who meant a lot to my career there and who, what I thought embodied what it means to have a liberal arts education in a small school environment. The first and foremost, I think of Dr. Sanford Silverberg. Dr. Silverberg was the leading voice, I would say, in my education at Catawba as a political science major. He was the head of the political science department. And what Dr. Silverberg instilled in each of us was the ability to work hard, to think critically, and to pursue our goals. And he was more than a professor in that he was rigorous in his demands, but he also cared about his students as people, and then attempted to help them gain what they needed for their career advancement. He was very hands-on with you as a political science major. And I think of Dr. Silverberg, I also think of Bill Hall in the staff who we interacted with, who taught students how to grow up, and who was a guiding force who allowed the students to have an ability to grow up, but who provided the basis around that. And I think of Bill Hall and his involvement still with the school. 2 people who are no longer with us who had an influence on me at Catawba. First was Dr. Martha Moorhead, an English professor whose love of literature and her ability to bring out clear writing and a pithy phrase, which I think I use on occasion as I write over 100 opinions a year at the North Carolina Court of Appeals. I still think of what she taught us about how to write a clear sentence, but how to put in meaning to what you say in a clear and concise manner. And the last person I would talk about is Dr. King West, who was a religion professor who established or who put together the first foreign trip that I ever took, and who that has grown into a desire to travel, to learn, to meet new people, to do new things in various places. And that was something that I think about him. And I will say that the only book that I still have from my years at Catawba, I think, is probably the New Oxford Annotated Version of the Scriptures, which we had in Dr. West's class, which still resides on my nightstand. Catawba, to me, is the epitome of what a liberal arts education in a small school should be. I'm immensely grateful to the college and to the Alumni Association for this award. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Congratulations. Very proud of your work, and thank you for your public service. The next award is the Distinguished Alumni Award for Service. This award recognizes alumni who provided extraordinary service to their community and who have demonstrated leadership to the college.
All right. This year's recipient is James Taylor, class of 1976, recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award for Service. James Taylor of Woodleaf is Senior Relationship Manager at Carolina Farm Credit. He earned a psychology degree, summa cum laude, from Catawba and studied at the North Carolina School of Banking. Taylor was a starter on the Catawba wrestling team, where he received the Unsung Hero Award in 1975 and was on the track team. He served as manager of the football team. He was a member of the Catawba National Honor Society. He established the Rowan County Wrestler of the Year Award in honor of and named for his Catawba coach, Frank Dutch Myers. He is a member of the Catawba Chiefs Club and a prior member of the Ralph W. Kettner School of Business Advisory Board. James is married to Kim Mowry Taylor, and they have 2 grown children, Adam, whose wife is Lauren Taylor, and daughter Brooke Taylor. They have 2 grandchildren, Abby and Clay. James, would you like to share a few thoughts?
Good morning, Dr. Nelson. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the committee and those that worked on this award. I know there's a lot of other people that's equally qualified or maybe more qualified, but I humbly accept this award today. Next, I'd like to thank my family, my wife Kim, and my son Adam, and my daughter Brooke. Adam's alumni of Catawba as well, but these have fully supported me over the years and allowed me to be involved in the community and do things I needed to do. A lot of times they had extra work to do because I was away from home, and so they had to pick up the slack. So I appreciate them, and I know I was more effective, excuse me, knowing that they fully supported me. Next, I'd like to thank my employer, excuse me again, Carolina Farm Credit, which I've been with for almost 40 years. Not only have they encouraged me and supported me, but in a lot of the projects I've worked on, they did financially support it in that matter as well. It's great to know that the employer likes for you to be involved with the college and in the community, and I appreciate that. In the Bible, in Matthew and Mark, Jesus states that he has come not to be served, but to serve. And that's kind of the motto I try to adopt myself. In reflecting back over the 44 years, I realized that Catawba was a great choice for me. It was big enough that had everything the other colleges had, but it's also small enough to fit me and fit my needs. It was big enough to give me a good education, but yet small enough for me to realize that the faculty and the professors really cared about me individually. They cared more about me and being developed than just numbers and tuition. Friendships like I had with Coach Dutch Myers, Dr. Rich, and Bill Hall, who was Dean of Admissions at that time, are just priceless. And I'm so thankful to be able to meet those people and the impact they had on my life. Thank you for Catawba College for what you do for me and done for me and what you do for the community. Thank you.
Congratulations to you. Thank you. Now I'm pleased to introduce a new award to our Distinguished Alumni Award Ceremony. It is the Catawba Black Alumni Pioneer Award. The award recognizes Black alumni who paved the way for African-American students in that they have distinguished themselves in a profession and/or a local community and conveyed integrity within Catawba through their decency and bravery. I should add that they paved the way actually for all of us in the Catawba community. These award winners are recognized for bringing honor to the Catawba community as a whole and to the Catawba Black Alumni Network that I mentioned earlier, our CBAN group, through their support of CBAN events and initiatives. The three awardees today are history makers. They made history at Catawba as they integrated the college's student body. Durante and Bullock were the first Black basketball players at Catawba during the 1965-66 season. Bullock served in the Illinois House of Representatives for 8 years. Hill, a football standout who played for 4 NFL teams, came to Catawba in 1965 and was the first Black football player. Durante played for the Harlem Globetrotters. For the conveying of the awards and a bit more bio, I'll turn it back to Jeff.
All right, thank you. So Dwight Durante, class of 1974, Black Alumni Pioneer Award winner. Dwight Durante, a Fayetteville educator, played most of his professional sports career with the Harlem Globetrotters and Harlem Magicians. He was Catawba's first ever first-team NAIA All-American. He was drafted by the New York Knicks in the 6th round of the NBA draft in 1969. He left the NBA after the 1968 Olympic trials, where he led the NAIA All-Stars and outplayed All-Americans from the NCAA schools was left off the roster for the Olympic Games in Mexico City. Convinced that a 5'8" player couldn't make it into the NBA, he joined the Harlem Globetrotters. He was inducted into the North Carolina Sports Hall of Fame in 2017. Dwight is unable to be with us today.
We're sorry we can't see Dwight today, but congratulations to him. Quite an accomplishment. Our next outstanding award winner is Reverend Larry Bullock, class of 1969.
Bullock graduated from Catawba with a Bachelor of Science degree, pre-law. He was the first African-American student to graduate from Catawba College. His athletic and academic accomplishments led him to Chicago, where he earned a Master of Public Administration degree from Roosevelt University and a Master of Divinity degree from McCormick, a theological seminary, on the campus of University of Chicago. In 1978, he was elected to the Illinois House of Representatives and served for 8 years. He has been inducted into the Black History Makers, a political makers, the nation's largest African-American video oral history collection, now housed in the U.S. Library of Congress. Wow. Successful in the corporate business world, he was previously National Manager Strategic Market Relationships for Stewart Title Guarantee Company, Multicultural Market Development, Stewart Title Guarantee Corporation. He was responsible for multicultural market development and development of strategic relationships with banking, investment, and commercial entities within the real estate settlement services industry, NCM niches nationwide. He is recipient of the Presidential Award from the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, designated as the Democracy and Housing Award for outstanding and exemplary contribution to the nationwide home ownership campaign in the African American multicultural market communities. He is the owner / president of April Cobra Enterprises Incorporated and former chairman of Heartland Energy Technology, also known as HEAT LLC, that specializes in construction management, environmental engineering, general contracting, real estate development, and global venture consulting in Barrington, Illinois. In addition, he is the founder and current president of the U.S. Minority Contractors Association, a nonprofit professional trade association of minority-owned and operated businesses. USMCA is located in Illinois, Michigan, Indiana, Missouri, Florida, Georgia, and soon in North Carolina. It's going to be in the Raleigh-Durham metro area. He is former Roosevelt University Alumni Association president and board of trustee members. He is the founder, senior pastor / teacher of Living Faith CWC Church in Palatine, Illinois, holding these positions since October 8th, 2000. Reverend Larry, would you like to say a few words?
Larry, I think you're muted. Are you able to unmute?
All right. Thank you, Jeff. As I often tell people when they labor through that bio, thank God for the rumor. I'm delighted to be here with you all today, Dr. Nelson. I was with you yesterday. Jeff and Mindy and Savannah, you've done an outstanding job. Your administrative skills are excellent. I'm delighted also to be a part of this award ceremony with the fellow recipients here, especially my friend and colleague and brother, Ike Hill, and of course, in absentia, Dwight Durante. I was thinking as I prepared to come here today, and they said you have 5 minutes. And as we now are in a period of time in America when we're in a transitional and inflection point, so I tried to say, what can I tell somebody that maybe they don't know? So I want to take you back down memory lane as a way of expressing my profound and deep appreciation for those persons who sowed into my life. You call me a pioneer. I'm just an apostle of love. But they sowed into my life. Dr. Nelson, 55 years ago, I set foot on the campus of Catawba College. And 51 years ago, I walked across the stage proudly as the first African-American graduate of Catawba College. As I go back down memory lane, I cannot omit mentioning Coach Sam Moyer, the basketball coach, and his brother Charles Moyer, a basketball coach from Mount Airy, North Carolina, who took a chance on me. They took a chance on me. But I would also be remiss if I didn't mention Dean Earl B. Ruth, who was the athletic director, who took a chance on me. I'd also be remiss if I did not mention the UCC Church, German Reformed Church, in the period of 1964-65, who took a chance on me. And I certainly would be remiss if I didn't mention the name of Dr. Peter Cooper, my political science instructor at Catawba College. Interesting enough, and this is where the inflection point took place in my life at Catawba, that jettisoned me out of Catawba into the great state land of Lincoln. I always wanted to be a history teacher. When I came to Catawba, Coach Moyer said, well, what do you want to do? I said, I want to teach history and I want to be a coach. That was the height of my ambition, to teach history and to be a coach. Well, I came from Mount Airy High School, where I was the first Black high school graduate. And what I found out when I got to Catawba, and I was in my history classes, I kept getting the maximum grade I could get was a C+. And so I went to Coach Moyer and I said, Coach Moyer, I'm going to major in history, but all I'm ever getting is a C+. And he says, well, why is that? I says, well, I went to a man, his name is C. Craig Singer. He was a history teacher. And I said, Dr. Singer, my name is Lawrence Bullock. He says, boy, I know who you are. I says, but I want to major in history and I've never gotten a C+ in all of my life. He said, boy, I didn't want you here. you will never get more than a C+ in my class. Well, needless to say, I was not a disciple of Martin Luther King, but I kept my peace and went to Coach Moorhead, told him that story. Coach Moorhead says, well, he called me Lawrence. He says, Lawrence, tomorrow you come to my office. Don't go back to that history class. I went to his office the next day, Dr. Nelson, and there was a man sitting in that office. And he said, Lawrence, I'd like for you to meet Dr. Cooper. Dr. Cooper, I'd like for you to meet Lawrence Bullock. And he says, Lawrence Bullock is going to major in political science. I just want you to pause that, frame that. Were it not for that inflection point in my life, God had his hand on me that took me out of history, took me into political science pre-law. And Dr. Peter Cooper, for the rest of my career, was an invaluable mentor to me. I had no idea what political science meant. I used to run around the country and with the Society of Friends and Black Mountain Retreats and the Quakers, where I met L. Richardson Pryor and Terry Sanford and people like that, very progressive Democrats in the state of North Carolina. But they sowed into my life. And so as I sit here today, thanking you for this award, I want to speak to the Black alum who have followed me, Jeff. I want you to know that 55 years ago, Catawba made a decision that Black Lives Matter. They made a strategic decision that Black Lives Matter, and they took a chance on me. And because they took a chance on me, there were footprints left in the sand. Yes, footprints in the sand. They weren't my footprints. They were the footprints of Sam Moyer and Charlie Moyer and Earl B. Roof and Peter Cooper. They carried me across that campus for 4 years. So I am humbled, I'm honored, I'm just overjoyed that in 2020, in the midst of the nonsense of our society, that Catawba can say we produced one that went on to make a difference in the world. As I close, I say, Dr. Nelson, I have a quote that I wrote with a hand stick. It's above my desk here. And the quote says, how do you live beyond the cemetery? You reproduce yourself. You sow into other people's lives. And then I added another little quote to that, Ike. You are never a success unless you leave a successor. So I say to you all, leave successors. I'm one of them, and so are you.
Thank you, Larry. And I'm glad you found those coaches and Dr. Cooper and that they found you.
Thank you, Dr. Nelson.
Thank you. Our next outstanding award winner is IKIL, class of 1970. Jeff?
All right. Ike Hill of Oak Park, Illinois, played 5 seasons in the National Football League for the Buffalo Bills, the Chicago Bears, the New Orleans Saints, and the Miami Dolphins from 1970 to 1976. At Catawba, he earned Most Valuable Player honors in 1968 and 1970. He made the All-Carolinas Conference team for 2 years. He remains Catawba's all-time leader in all-purpose yards and punt returns and is second in kickoff return yardage. In high school, he played 3 sports for Atkins High School in Winston-Salem and was All-City and All-State in 1964 and 1965. In 2010, he was inducted into the Atkins High School Sports Hall of Fame. After his sports career, he spent more than 3 decades employed by an Illinois lumber company. Ike, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to go back and thank all of the coaches and players that I played with at Catawba. They have a profound interest in my life. It's been an outstanding, I had an outstanding career. I came out of Atkins High School in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I played basketball, football, baseball, and I changed sports with the season. 2010, I was inducted into the Atkins High School Sports Hall of Fame. After his sports career, he spent more than 3 decades employed by an Illinois lumber company. I was recruited by all of the Black schools in the area. At that time, the mid-60s, they were not recruiting many Black players in the ACC. And I had scholarship offers from all around the state of North Carolina and some out of state of North Carolina. But the Catawba interest in me brought about some excitement. And my parents told me that I would have to make that choice and that I would have to be the one, to see it through. And I remember back, I think it was Don Mathis and Sam Moyer came to my house and said to me that if I came, that I could play any of the three sports. I had a full scholarship, that I could play any of the three sports that that I wished. And I chose football because I thought football would be my path, down the road and to later success. After my first year on campus, I basically was a wide receiver / running back, and the coaches wanted me to give quarterback a try. I knew I could play the position, but I really didn't have it in my heart because I was looking at the big picture and I wanted to get to the next level, which was the pros. And I knew that there were no 5'11", 180-pound Black quarterbacks in the NFL at the time. So I told the coaches that I really would like to pass on that quarterback position and stay at wide receiver, which I was able to do. And all of the players that I played with some outstanding players, and they made it happen for me. And we developed some great relationships along the way. And I'm still friends with many of those players today. Our teams at Catawba were exciting, and we could play with anyone. I never will forget Harvey Stratton would come in. I don't know what day of the week it was, but he would always come in and put in 2 new trick plays every week. And that always excited me because I was an offensive player and I was all about, my interest was in scoring touchdowns and trying to put some points on the board for Catawba. My experiences there at Catawba have made me the man that I am today. And I want to thank all of the people who had an interest in that. And I wish all of you the best and all of you stay safe.
Thank you. Congratulations to you, Ike. Well, I am learning much about the Catawba community, and one thing that is clear is that a Catawba education prepares people to go and make the world more like the place we all want to live. And each of you that has been recognized today is a great example of that. And I'm thrilled to say that that is still happening on this campus today. And it will continue to do so. So we thank each of you that we've recognized today. We thank you. You have inspired us, and you certainly have inspired me and helped me to understand better what Catawba is all about. So thank you for being here. I look forward to the time we can gather on campus and see each other in person, and I'll look forward to meeting each of you. But congratulations again to each one of you, well deserved, and thank you. And Mindy, I think I'm supposed to turn it back to you.
Yes, thank you all so much. Just again, another round of applause for our award winners. I know we have folks applauding in person on Facebook Live, but thank you to everyone that's watching to help us pay tribute to these just outstanding fine alumni. That set the bar for all of us of what it means to be a Catawba graduate. I just want to thank our award winners for being here. Jeff Smith for representing our Alumni Board of Directors, Dr. Nelson, our development staff that is on here that's helped make this possible. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't welcome everyone. We still have some great homecoming events happening. If you're local and you want to come to the CATU drive-through in the chapel circle, we'll be handing out some fun goodies, and you can reminisce and see the homecoming king and queen be crowned. Also, we will be doing a realist football game reel on Facebook. I know we not have in-person games right now, but we're going to show some highlights from the past. And of course, we'll be ending our weekend with the chapel service by our campus ministries team, as it would be fit to end a Catawba homecoming. But again, congratulations and thank you all, and have a wonderful weekend.